Hey everyone, Parth Gaurav here, founder of Digi Hotshot, a Webflow premium partner agency. And today we are diving deep into something that keeps many website owners up at night: website migration. You know what's shocking? About 40% of website migrations fail to meet their goals. But don't worry, I'm going to show you exactly how we handle successful migrations at Digi Hotshot from any legacy, any old platform to Webflow. And by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly what makes them work. First, let's break down what a website migration actually is. Think of it like moving houses, except this house is digital and needs to stay open for business during the entire move. And every piece of content, every image, every function needs to work perfectly in its new home. So when clients come to us, we typically discuss three main approaches. You can do a like-for-like migration, which is basically creating an exact copy of your current site on Webflow. Or maybe you want to have some minor UI upgrades in some sections across the site, basically keeping the core design but making it feel more modern. In some sections there are some UI mistakes that you need to resolve, things like that. And then there is the complete redesign route, where we basically first redesign the entire site and then rebuild everything from ground up. Now you might be wondering, why go through all this trouble? Well, let me share what I've seen working with clients. Most often they are hitting walls with their current platform. Maybe their WordPress site is getting slower as they add more plugins, or they're tired of calling a developer every time they need to update something simple. And that I have seen across, because for one of our clients, we are still managing their WordPress site, and it is a pain to update some simple things. Now let me share something interesting. Just last month, a client told me that they were spending $2,000. Yeah, $2,000 every month just maintaining their WordPress plugins. That's like paying rent for a house that just keeps breaking down. After moving to Webflow, those costs just disappears completely. Now let me walk you through our proven migration process at Digi Hotshot. So the first 2 weeks are all about planning. We start off with a thorough assessment of your current site. During our discovery call, we figure out if we are doing a like-for-like migration, adding some minor UI upgrades as I said earlier, or going for a complete redesign route. And each path needs a different approach and timeline. Then after that, we dive into technical stuff. We check your current platform, look at every feature that you are using, and map out what can move directly to Webflow and what might need a different solution. For example, there are certain URL structure that is followed on your current tool stack, which cannot be replicated inside Webflow. So things like that, we document everything. We also document all the third-party tools, things like your analytics, marketing tools, and any custom integrations, CRM integrations that you're having. So we document everything, each and every bit. Now here's where it gets interesting. If we are doing a like-for-like migration, we'll use Chrome's inspect tools and some Chrome extensions to capture your current design perfectly. And if there are some cases that client has the Figma files for their design, then that is very helpful. But if we are doing a redesign, we follow our proven process like design strategy, mid-fidelity wireframing, then high fidelity, then Webflow development. And this is about the redesign. But if we come back to the like-for-like migration thing, and sometimes clients already have Figma files of their current site, while that is helpful, we usually need to check the live site too, because there are often updates that never made it back to the design files. They were directly implemented to the site itself. So basically we need to check the live site as well. Now here's something crucial about Webflow development that most people don't understand. And I say this as the founder of a Webflow premium partner agency. Development time varies based on your site's complexity, from 2 to 3 weeks for smaller sites to maybe like 4 to 6 weeks for feature-rich websites. When we are migrating to Webflow, we are rebuilding your site from scratch, because that's how Webflow works. There's no copy-paste option between platforms. And basically you cannot just copy-paste a WordPress site into a Webflow one. And let me give you a glimpse of our development process too. While we have a detailed methodology that deserves its own video, but here's the general approach that we take. First, what we do is we set up your CMS architecture, and this is basically the foundation that will power your dynamic content across the site. Then we establish your global styles and a design system. And after that, we start building the actual site page by page, section by section. And once the desktop version is solid, we make everything responsive for all screen sizes. Basically what we do is we make it responsive section by section. And finally, we implement your integrations and any custom functionality. During this phase, we are crafting semantic HTML, efficient CSS, and minimal JavaScript that makes your site faster and easier to maintain, because all the sites on Webflow are built on HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. We are also setting up your navigation, footer, and main templates, ensuring everything works together smoothly. And there are other things like we set up, as I said, we set up CMS properly so that you can update your site yourself. and we create a component library as well, so that you can easily create new pages. And again, like, one thing we pay special attention to, which is a necessity right now, and I don't need to mention it, is responsive design. Every element needs to look and function perfectly, whether someone's viewing your site on desktop, tablet or phone. We like QA everything. We double QA, and then we do the QA with the client as well, so that to make sure that everything is responsive. Now next comes the content migration. We are moving your text, images, database, everything that makes your site yours, and this usually takes 1 to 2 weeks depending on how much content you have. Let me give you one example. So right now we are doing a migration from WordPress to Webflow, and for a specific set of collection, we were able to export the content directly from WordPress to Webflow, but there are still lots of resources that we cannot, export directly from their WordPress site. So we would need to manually take those over from WordPress to Webflow, and depending upon the size of the site and the content that you have, this will take time, and this takes a lot of effort. And after that, we are also setting up all your 301 redirects during this phase. This thing is very crucial for maintaining your SEO rankings. We want search engines to know that your content has just moved houses, not disappeared. Then the last thing happens is the QA and the launch thing. The final week is all about testing and refinement. But before this final week, we already do our internal QA. This final week is the QA that we do with your team, and we check every page on multiple devices and browsers. We test all the forms, make sure all integrations are working perfectly, and verify that your site is loading fast. And we also do a final SEO check to make sure that we haven't missed any meta description or meta title or alt tags. And once everything passes our quality check, we plan to launch the site for a low traffic time, usually early morning or late evening. And usually teams prefer to launch late on Friday. Having led 30 plus migrations in the last 5 years at Digi Hotshot, let me share some stories, the things that can go wrong if you are not careful. And the biggest mistake I see is rushing through the planning process. It's tempting to jump right into the migration, but that's like packing for a move without making a list. Things get forgotten. Another big one is underestimating the SEO impact. Your website has built up authority over years, and you don't want to lose that. We have seen sites lose 50% of their traffic because they didn't set up proper redirects. And I have also made this mistake in my initial years. Like, I think it was second year which of me doing Webflow freelance, where I made this mistake. So quality checks are crucial too. I can't tell you how many times I have seen migrations where content gets missed or things break on mobile devices. That's why we have a thorough testing process. And finally, timeline management. Content migration always takes longer than you think. Always. We build that buffer into our timelines because we know unexpected things will come up. Now let me share a real migration story that shows exactly how this process works in practice. So, we recently helped wellnesseveryday.org, Ventura County's mental health resource platform, migrate from Joomla to Webflow. Now, this wasn't just any website. We are talking about a platform that provides critical mental health resources and crisis support information to an entire community. The stakes were incredibly high here, and any downtime or any misinformation could impact someone seeking an urgent mental health support. Now, think about that for a moment. This wasn't just about moving content, it was about maintaining a lifeline for vulnerable community members. And here's what made this migration particularly challenging. While the design was simple, as you can see, the design is very simple across the site. We had to preserve years of accumulated mental health resources, maintain all existing crisis support information, keep SEO rankings so people could still find help, and ensure zero disruption to their services. And the result is we successfully migrated 100% of their critical resources, actually improved their page load speeds, and made the site much more friendly to use. And here's what really made me proud. Their team can now update crisis information quickly without needing any technical support. And we collaborated with a design firm, with a marketing firm in this project. You can see it on our website. Their project manager put it this way, and I'm quoting him here: "Our website migration from Joomla to Webflow went smoothly. We expect it will remain a helpful tool for years to come." And across the site, another thing that was challenging for this particular site was we need to migrate all the content manually, most of the content manually from Joomla to Webflow, because there was no direct way to just export it from their platform and import it here. We did not want to miss any information, so we had to import a lot of resources manually. So it has like tons of resources. This site has around 70 plus static pages and around 10 CMS collections, with a lot with most of them interlinked with each other. We call it multi-reference fields. Via multi-reference and reference fields, they are connected to each other to provide this site of functionality. We also are using Webflow localization in this, and you can see like there are lots of resources, video library, and tons of resources across the site, and everything is built inside Webflow. As a Webflow premium partner, we have seen firsthand that success isn't just about moving content, it's about setting your website up for future growth. Whether you are moving from WordPress, Joomla, or any other platform to Webflow, proper planning and execution makes all the difference. So if you found this video helpful, hit that subscribe button for more web development insights, and I'd love to know what's your biggest concern about your website migration. And if you have any doubts, you can DM me DH Webflow for a free migration consultation of your site, and I'll help you avoid the common pitfalls we talked about today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.